Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the November 3rd, 2020 episode of the Mystic Access Podcast. She's Kim.
He's Chris.
And we have things to talk about that are fun today, and they have nothing to do with what today is.
Yes, absolutely. So you can breathe a sigh of relief that for a little while at least, you can turn your thoughts away and hang out with us. So welcome.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is our final class for November, and that is a class that Lisa named the Pint-Sized Kitchen. And it's for people that don't have a lot of space, maybe in a mobile home and things like that. And she's going to join us and talk about different appliances that are small. Maybe they're one-use appliances.
I don't know that they're necessarily one-use appliances. I think they're just little and compact and fun. If you either are trying to maximize a little space, like I often do, or if you just want stuff that is easy and compact and really helpful, accessible gadgets to get you through your cooking in the kitchen or your prep, whatever that is, then this will be a fun class for you to come and join us. And even if you aren't necessarily cooking in the kitchen, this may assist you in finding presents for those who are. We are excited to share this particular class with you. We always try to do something fun for our November class. For those of you who are new, we only do classes January through November. November is our last free class of the year. We don't meet in December, so we want to have something fun for our last class and something a little different than what we would normally do. We've done shopping classes, we've done coupon classes, we've done all kinds of fun things in the past. So this is a little different, and this is also something that can assist you in maybe knocking a few people off that Christmas list in the best possible way.
Normally, we hold these classes, as you know, on the last Thursday of the month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. However, the last Thursday of the month is going to be
Thanksgiving Day.
So we won't be holding that class. It will be the previous week. It will be at 8:30 p.m. on November 19th. So that's just one thing to keep in mind.
And you'll probably remember it because you probably don't want to be in class any more than we want to on Thanksgiving. So we're going to hold it the week before on the 19th. And as long as you are part of our events mailing list, you will receive all the information to join us. And if you aren't, you can join the events list via the website, mysticaccess.com. You can scroll down and check the checkbox for the relevant mailing list you want to join. List or lists, we have two. And we will send you that information. If you have trouble, call us. We'll be happy to subscribe you. So just let us know.
One thing about classes before we move on, I just wanted to remind people that we are no longer recording the question and answers sessions of the free classes. Again, this is only for free classes. This has been a thing for a couple of months now. I received a phone call yesterday where they wanted to know when that started, and that has already started.
Yeah, that started with our last class and will be the case for our November class as well. Please keep that in mind. Those aren't being recorded. In some ways, it allows a little more fun and freedom for those of you who show up to the actual classes. It just makes things a little more loose and a little more informal, and hopefully we can continue that tradition of just opening things up. So hopefully that will work out to allow that to be a thing from now on. So if you can join us live and wish to, we'd love to have you. If not, of course, you can download from our free downloads page when the classes go up.
Speaking of classes, sort of. It seems to be a tradition here that on Black Friday, which this year is the 27th of November, we will have an open house, and this definitely is not recorded, which is awesome. They never were. What it allows you to do is come in and just hang out with, us and anybody else that wants to come and join, and that will be from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on November 27th.
Absolutely. And we've done this before. We will hopefully continue to hold these. And it's just a fun way to kind of essentially wind down the year with you guys. We always have a really busy period from Black Friday through several days through that next week, as do many businesses. And we want to have the opportunity to kind of thank you for your patronage over the course of the year, especially over the course of this year. So we really would love to have you come and hang out with us if you have the opportunity. Come hang out, ask questions. It's just going to be a fun experience. We always try and make it fun, and we answer your questions. And if you haven't met a lot of the other people who are part of our community, it's a great way to mingle and socialize. We've had some fun reunions of people who have known each other and lost touch and found each other again via our community. So that's a lot of fun. We love when that happens. We'd love to have you come. This information will be made public, and it's not going out quite yet. So just hang out and wait for it. It will be up on our news page before the 27th, obviously. I'll probably put it up that week of Thanksgiving, probably that Monday before, and that'll give you time to check it out. Of course, just if you're not celebrating Thanksgiving in the States, don't worry about it. Anyone is welcome to come because the way this works is you can hang out with anyone across the world. So we'd love to have any of you from anywhere come hang out with us, join us. And if it fits into your schedule and your time zone, we'd love to have you. And as I said, I'll try and put this up several days in advance so that you can get the information, tell others who you think would be interested. And of course, we can talk Mystic Access products, but we can also just chat. These are a lot of fun. We've had some kind of legendary ones already over the course of the years, so it would be a blast to have you.
So for those of you that used our Halloween coupon of Ghost, that has since expired, and we're going to let the festivities continue into November. For those that have joined us during the stocking stuffers from Accessible World, unfortunately that is not a thing this year. But we are going to resurrect the coupon that we used to use for stocking stuffers, which is Silver Bells. It starts today, November 3rd, 2020, and runs until Friday, November 20th, 2020. Like the Ghost coupon in October, there are some restrictions that will apply. For example, you are not able to use the coupon on the Blind Shell cell phone, but you can use it on the case. And if you use points, you cannot use points and the coupon at the same time, so you will need to figure out which is of greater value to you, to use points that you've acquired or to use the coupon.
Yeah, we don't want to stack too much stuff together. We love giving you guys discounts, but we also want to make sure that we get something from the product purchase. So we want to make sure that you can pick whichever is more fair to you. So if you have more points that'll save you more cash, obviously use those. If a coupon will save you more, use it.
Or if you want to do points in one order and do the coupon in the other, go for it.
Speaking of which, how many times can they use Silver Bells?
As many times as they want up until the 20th of November.
If you're listening on the debut day of this podcast, November 3rd, you can start right away to use this coupon. So if there's something you want, something you're interested in, definitely feel free to check it out. And of course, remember that as we grow closer to Thanksgiving, other deals and steals will pop up as well. So in the meantime, if there's something you want, we want to make sure that you have a little bit of an extra treat that will give you some discounts.
Should have called it Snowball.
Snowball!
Oh well. Maybe next year we'll
Maybe next year we'll call it Snowball. In the meantime, though, it is Silver Bells, one word, all lowercase, and that will get you the 10%.
Happy holidays, Mystic Access listeners. This is Santa, sending you warmest greetings from my extremely busy workshop. I'll be climbing down your chimney to stuff your stockings full of Christmas cheer before you can say Kris Kringle. And if you've been especially good, I'd love to bring you some special shiny gifts from Mystic Access to make your holidays extra bright. Before I make my list and check it twice, be sure to check out the Mystic Access shop page to find your favorite treats, or something to make those you love very merry. Need ideas? Check out the podcast, listen to samples on mysticaccess.com, or give Chris and Kim a call at 716-543-3323. Merry Christmas, and I expect particularly delicious milk and cookies from you this Christmas Eve. And don't forget the reindeer. They get extra hungry pulling my humongous heavy sleigh around the world. See you soon. Ho, 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 ho.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the fun things that either one of us have received over the past little while. And it really doesn't even have to be within the last year. We can go back a couple years if we want to, but we're just going to give you some ideas of some fun things. And I'm going to start out with a catastrophe.
Uh-oh.
I was minding my own business and I was trying to make a cup of coffee. So I used to have this water cooler. a bottom-loading water cooler, where you get water from those 5-gallon jugs or the 3-gallon jugs. And it had a built-in Keurig machine, which was really cool because that was a serious reservoir of water. I decided one day to make some coffee, and there was no coffee, there was no water. The pump basically died. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I already had an older water cooler that was in storage. There was no point in getting another device just because it had a built-in coffee maker. So I pulled the old water cooler out of storage, fired it up, and it works beautiful. I was sick a few days ago and decided I needed some orange juice. So what goes good with orange juice but coffee?
Yeah, if you say so.
Well, not really, but it kind of was a segue to what I was doing. So I used Shipt to go to Target or to have my stuff delivered from Target and decided that I wanted a Keurig little K-Cup machine. I put the orange juice in the cart. I put the Keurig Mini in the cart. I wasn't sure that I was going to like it because it's a single serve thing and there's no reservoir. The reservoir is really only as big as the cup. I really do like it. It is rose gold, so it is.
Oh, he's fashion conscious now. It's great.
A very pretty pink, I suppose.
Pinkish gold.
Something like that. And I decided friend come over and he said it really does look nice. That was a nice thing that I found because I needed the coffee and I wasn't sure if I was going to go back to beans or use K-Cups or whatever. I think it ultimately worked out. The day before the other one broke, I bought 100 K-Cups.
Oops. And the really cool thing is if you decide that you want beans or you decide that you want previously ground coffee, you have the ability to get the little My K-Cup filter.
Right.
And use that with your device. You should probably be able to find it fairly cheap on its own. I don't use mine lots, but I'm glad I have it in case I want it. So it's a cool thing. There is, for those of you who are like, Keurig, what's that? A demo on our free downloads page, and I will link to it in the show notes, where you can check out a demo that I did, I don't know when it was, last year, year before, something like that, on my Keurig, which is similar to Chris's, except mine has a couple fancy things that his doesn't. I really like mine too. I use it all the time. And I don't just make coffee in it. I make other things in it too. So it's very handy. It's very useful. And one of the reasons that we wanted to cover this topic of little things that we like that aren't really huge in the budget necessarily that you can just enjoy is we wanted to kind of help you not only to get a start on your own Christmas gift purchasing, but also maybe thinking about what you might want for your holidays. So what interests you? What would you like to experience? Because frankly, my concern this whole time has been, are we going to be able to find holiday gifts for one another this year? And so might as well start now. Here it is, early November. We're not trying to cram holidays down anyone's throat at this stage in the game, certainly. But I think it's probably time to start thinking about it, especially right now, because at least in my area, or at least in my position, sometimes things are hard to find right now. And I think others have been experiencing that same pain point across the country. So if you can find things online or however, and given the postal service of late, I don't know how many of you have had that experience, it may be a good idea to order early for lots of reasons. So we wanted to kind of bring this topic up and make sure that you had some ideas perhaps, or mention some things that we like that you might like either to give or to get this holiday season. You know, you were just talking about the Keurig. I have something that I bought myself after I got my Keurig that I really love. It's a K-Cup drawer system, and I really don't have any horizontal space on my countertop, so I like to use vertical space whenever I get the opportunity. My Keurig is actually sitting on it. It's a 2-drawer system. So there's one on top, and then there's one that stacks underneath it. And I have my Keurig on top of the two. So my Keurig is essentially right under my cabinets, my upper cabinets. The one I have, they're really nice. They're really sturdy. I don't remember the brand name off the top of my head, but I'll attempt to find them and link in the show notes to them if they're still available. Each drawer holds 18 K-Cups, and they're just really nice. You just drop them in, and you can find whatever it is that you're looking for. So what I did was I put one brand or one type of coffee in one and one type in the other. But I'm sure if you were careful, you could organize them in a different way and make sure you knew what was what in there. And there are lots of these drawer combinations on Amazon. This is where I got mine. And you can check them out and find something that perhaps will work better for you. But I think they have them in as small as a 24 drawer all the way up to, I saw a 3-tier drawer system of 72. Obviously, with that one, you're getting 3 drawers instead of 2. And so you would need to stack them or put them in such a way where you've got the space. That's an option too. I would actually like to have more because I really like them, but I have nowhere else to put another one in terms of stacking them vertically. So I really do like it though. It's a really nice way to hold my Keurigs. You had a carousel one time, didn't you?
I do and still do. I don't really use it because if you spin it fast enough, maybe you're really in need of that cup of coffee and you decide you want to spin it fast enough. I've actually had them shoot out. So
Ooh, that's a problem.
yeah, that kind of is a problem because it's a carousel and they are standing on their side. So the K cups themselves are pushed into the carousel. So they're not like a horse on a carousel where they're sitting that way. The foil is actually facing you.
See, I was picturing it more like a Lazy Susan.
Well, it is, but it's not. It's just two things that are straight up and they're holes, and you put the K cup in the hole and it kind of just rests there. So if you spin it fast enough, yeah, the K cup can, or several K cups can fall out.
So what else have you gotten recently that you love that you think our other people here would love as well?
I know we've talked about this in the not too distant past, but I must say my new cordless phone system. I really like that.
You really like it? You're still really enjoying that?
Yes, I like the fact that it rings the cell phone and it also rings the quote unquote landline, if you will. So either way, I can answer the phone if I'm not near a cell phone, or if I am near one of those devices or one of the handsets, I can grab one of the handsets if the landline rings as well.
That's really nice. We don't really think necessarily about the fact that do I even still need a home phone system of some stripe. But as I think we mentioned in that podcast, if you're doing any kind of two-factor authentication, it really helps to have another device. So for that reason alone, it can be handy to have a home phone. Or certainly if you live with other people, it can be very handy to have an additional phone laying around aside from your cell phones. Definitely something to think about. I still want a home phone. Maybe I'm just old enough to still see some value in having that. So it can be really helpful.
I think I like it too because at least around here, my internet wires and my electrical is under the street. So if we have high winds and things like that, chances are I still will have power. And as long as the internet doesn't go out, that internet is also under the streets. We're only human, and we may or may not forget to put our cell phones on the charger, and, it could happen. The other final thing that I'm going to say here that I received recently that I like is my Series 6 Apple Watch. I had a Series 3. I gave it to my mother. She ended up getting an SE because the Verizon people couldn't get my T-Mobile watch onto their system. They said it was incompatible. Who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But the nice thing is that they gave her $100 towards the SE watch rather than what T-Mobile was going to give me for my watch, which was like about $44. I'm glad she was able to utilize that watch to get a better watch. I like having the fall detection because if it happens, it happens. I like having the heart rate stuff and the blood oxygen stuff that the Series 4, 5, and 6 had. I mean, the blood oxygen stuff is in the Series 6, but there were things in the Series 4 that I wanted, but I had just gotten my Series 3, so there was no way I was going to get a Series 4. So I'm glad that I waited and got the watch for those health type of things.
Yeah, that's really nice, and I'm looking forward to playing more with my Series 6. It has been such a crazy few weeks here that I've not gotten to enjoy it nearly as much as I would like. I've just been bogged down with stuff, and I would really look forward to the opportunity of playing with that more, again, closer to Thanksgiving, and really enjoying that because it is such a faster, more responsive, and more feature-rich experience. For me, one of the things that I love that you actually found and sent me was this wireless phone charger, going back to phones of a different stripe. I have really enjoyed that tremendously, and it actually fits your Apple Watch as well, which is great and fabulous. So it's very small. It folds down really compact. It will hold earpods, it will hold your cell phone and it will hold your Apple Watch. And I don't think you just have to use an iPhone on it, do you? Can't you
No,
use
you can
anything
use
that has wireless
anything.
charging?
Yeah, yep.
If it fits on there. So I really like that. And I'll endeavor to link back in the show notes to these podcasts where we discuss some of this stuff so you guys can listen if you didn't already. But this is a cool thing, and it's only what, like $25?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
So for the most part, aside from Chris's Apple Watch, we're looking at $100 or less easy in terms of these purchases. So you can check this stuff out fairly inexpensively. But I really like that. I really enjoyed it. I also really enjoyed, this is going to sound strange, but the pillow that I got to hold my Fire tablet. I have gotten a lot of enjoyment out of that and have actually used it tremendously. You may remember if you were listening to that episode that I ended up buying two because mine came as a set of two. And I said, well, I'm kind of interested in how this is going to work. And I thought, well, I'll give my mom one because she has a Fire tablet. You don't just have to use them for Fire tablets, of course. You can use them for your iPhones, iPads, Android devices. You probably couldn't put a laptop on them just the way that you use it, but you could certainly put any kind of a tablet on there, anything with a touch screen, certainly. And I think it would be a really fun experience, or at least it has been for me. It's been really fun to enjoy. But point to that little story is that I gave one to my mom, and she has not taken her Fire off it since she got it. She loves it. That can be a really cool little thing. It's just a little present, really good stocking stuffer. I think you probably get one for about $15, and that's $1.5. And it is very cool. The final thing I want to mention, since we were talking about weather and cold weather and power outages, because we're getting to that part of the year, it's something I got a couple years ago and something many of you may find interesting. Because of the work I do all day, every day, I have to have my hands out and exposed. And I'm either typing or I'm editing or I'm doing something where I have to dial numbers or type things or whatever. And one thing I wanted was to find gloves that allowed me to use my touchscreen devices successfully. So I found some, and I can't link to the exact ones I got because I got them, I think, at TJ Maxx, Ross, or somewhere like that. And I do a lot of shopping there I did before this year. They're little pink gloves, and they have on, I think, 3 fingers, including a thumb and 2 of the fingers. They have these little, I don't even know what you call them, but they're little pads that allow you to navigate and swipe and flick and double tap and do all these things on your touchscreen devices. So they'd work for anyone, but of course they also work for TalkBack and VoiceOver and VoiceView screen reader users. So you can use those to keep your hands cozy while you are using touchscreen devices. Now, could you type with them? I don't know. I think for that, you might want something a little different, like a fingerless glove, or a glove where you can peel back part of your glove in order to expose your fingers so that you can type. I don't have anything like that, but that might be something I ask for a stocking stuffer, or I find myself sometime around Christmas, because my hands do get really cold, and I obviously have to keep my hands out and exposed and using them all day. So I want to make sure that they can stay warm and cozy while I'm working. Those are a couple of little suggestions, and I paid, I don't know, less than $20 for my gloves, and I'm sure you could find the others for less than $20. You might be able to find them for as little as $5 or $10. It just depends on what you get. I'll see what I can find on Amazon to link to give you guys some idea of what I got, and you can check them out yourself. But that could be a really fun and thoughtful gift, not just for blind friends, but for sighted friends too, because we all have touchscreen devices, or many of us do, and we all use computers, or at least, again, many of us do. So either one of these options might be a handy gift to offer someone.
Didn't you recently get something as a gift that would allow you to utilize your iPhone and type text messages and things rather quickly?
I most certainly did. Yes, I did. It was a very nice gift, and kind of a surprise too, so I was really excited. I got an Orbit Writer. Yay! So I could use those fingerless gloves that I don't have yet to work on my Orbit Writer. And actually, guys, just from the perspective of one of us who works here, since we actually finally got one between us, I really like it so far. The only thing I've connected it to thus far, because again, I've just been swamped, is my iPhone SE. But I love it. I have really come to enjoy it, and I really had a very successful first-time pairing experience with it. So it's been great. I've really enjoyed using it, and I love the fact that it's so little bitty and cute, and it's just been great. It's just been very, very enjoyable to begin playing with it. I know that I will utilize it more, and am really looking forward to that as well, particularly when sending texts or emails, things like that. I know that when I'm talking to specific people, like I'll give you an example, my editor, for instance, I always want to try to be cautious of sending emails that make sense because she's my editor, and you always want to leave a good impression.
But she'll edit your emails back to you.
She'll edit my emails back to me. At least she will in her head, right? So I want to make sure that everything looks good and is nice. And let's say I'm not around my computer for whatever reason, I can now feel more confident in using my phone. And I have really no major issues with Braille screen input, but I think I'm going to appreciate having the Braille keyboard to use as an alternative. It's just there. I can type quickly on it without having to worry too much about it. It's just been a great experience. I've really had a lot of fun with it. Now, again, that could be something, if you turn it right, where I might use that pillow I was talking about earlier, my little tablet pillow. That's not as portable, obviously. The pillow isn't. But I want something that keeps, for me at least, my orbit a little higher than just putting it on my knees. I really don't like it that way. I've heard of people and know people, Lisa does this for instance, who will carry it around her neck. And I actually did take her advice and put a lanyard on mine, so I can do that should I wish to. But I also want other options as well. It can be really fun to figure out how these things work best for you. So those are just a few ideas from us that are, except again for Chris's watch, under $100. They could be nice gifts for you or for someone you love as we are coming up to holiday season again. And someone please tell me how we got here. I feel like the time from the COVID beginning craziness where lockdowns and things began here in the States, sometimes it's crawled and sometimes I just still look up and go, wow, 2020 is almost over. It's very strange. And don't forget, of course, if you have an Apple Watch or would like an Apple Watch, we have a great tutorial. It's my favorite Lisa tutorial that she did for us on the Apple Watch. So you can definitely check that out. And it is available from us for definitely less than $500. And you can check that out by visiting. And of course, I'll attempt to link to that as well. So lots of links in this week's show notes. Remember, if you want to check out the show notes, you need to visit mysticaccess.com/podcast, PODCAST, no S. And that will get you to the podcast page. And you can then click on episodes of your choosing and check out the show notes. And there are links to all the goodies we talk about. So we're about to say goodbye for this particular episode, but we want to encourage you, if you are some of those people who are thinking, what the heck am I going to buy someone for the holiday season, or I really don't know what I want, and I kind of want something small, but nothing huge, nothing too dramatic, but I'd like some little gifts. Please be sure to stay tuned to our next 2 episodes, because we're doing something special this year, and I think you will enjoy it. But let's just say you may get some great ideas for gift giving.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
The preceding podcast is a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. If you are blind or visually impaired and desire to discover how our comprehensive products and services may support and empower your assistive technology journey, we welcome your visit at www.mysticaccess.com. Have a question or wish to place an order via phone? Call us at 716-543-3323. If you have something to share about this podcast episode, press 4 to reach our Mystic Access podcast comment line. Email us at info@mysticaccess.com. Connect with us on Twitter at twitter.com/mysticaccess and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/mysticaccessempower. Would you like to spread the word about our podcasts? Your friends and colleagues may listen and subscribe at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. If you enjoy our episodes, consider leaving us an iTunes rating and review. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for being a listener. We hope you enjoyed this episode.